and welcome to Worlds Collide, the podcast about moving abroad. I am your host, Viktoria, and welcome. I'm so glad that you're here today. So, before we start, I just wanted to let you know that there are 3 ways how you can support the podcast. The first one is subscribe. So just push the subscribe button wherever you listen to the podcast. The second way is you could just leave a 5-star rating wherever you listen to the podcast. That would be great because that always increases the listenership. Or leave a comment if that is possible in your app. And then there is a third way. It's buy me a coffee. So you can chip in whatever amount you feel like. And the link is in the show notes, but it's also buymeacoffee.com/worldscollidepod. And there you can just chip in whatever you feel comfortable, whatever you want. Just buy me a coffee. That would be awesome. Hey, so today it's just solo. It's just me. Welcome to the podcast. Welcome to Worlds Collide, the podcast about moving abroad. Today's topic is I wanted to rant about the H4 visa. So why is this H4 visa so shitty? Excuse my language. I'm not the biggest fan of the H4 visa. Okay, so like now I probably get in trouble. Like, if you don't like it, then why don't you go home? But I just wanted to talk about the H4 visa frustrations or challenges. And maybe give my side of the story and want to give you a little bit of insight about it. So hang in there. So what is the H4 visa? So like I am the dependent of an H1B holder. So my husband works for a nice company. He got an H1B visa. You know, they were in the news lately a lot. So I am the dependent on that. So as it says already, dependent, this is where my frustration comes in. That means I have no work authorization. So that means I'm also dependent on my spouse and financially dependent. And I imagine I am not the only one who feels that frustration. So guys, if you are in the situation, please reach out to me. My email is worldscollide123pod@gmail.com, and I would love to talk to you about it or like hear your side of the story. If you want to also share your frustration with me. Okay, so I wanted to go back first to my story a little bit. So I'm gonna go back a little bit. So I came to the US like first time I had like a J1 visa. I did an internship for a year, and then later on I came back to the United States and I had a E2 visa. So I had my own business. I had a food truck. So I was financially independent, and my husband, he was my dependent, but he could work. So he had a work authorization. Even though he was dependent on my visa, he had the freedom to do whatever he liked in this country, you know, so he found like a nice job. And then later, COVID came and I gave up my visa. We switched to H1B because like his company offered it, and at that time it was COVID and I stopped the visa. I was pregnant at that time with my second child, and so it was like, all right, let's do it, because like I don't know what we're gonna do right now, so why don't we take the opportunity to get on the visa. I gonna be home for now, it's fine. My daughter was 3 at that time, and I was pregnant. I was like, all right, let's just like stay at home and like take care of the babies. It's COVID anyway. I don't know, like it was like the smart choice to make at the time. Also, I was thinking at the time, all right, we have that visa for like 2 or 3 years, and then maybe we can transfer it to a green card or something like that. So I thought like that works out. Okay, now 5 years later, the green card opportunity never came. At least, I mean, this is for our case. So, and I still don't have work authorization. I still I'm still on that H4 visa and I don't have, I'm still like not allowed. I'm still not independent, So my kids are small. I can do something. I'm busy with the kids. Like my daughter goes to school. Now my youngest is also already in pre-K, So I needed to find a way to feel valued, to feel important. Even if I couldn't contribute financially to the family, I still wanted to feel that I'm wasting my time, kind of. I don't know. it was really hard on me, It was, I don't know. I wanted to do something, but I was not allowed. And it was so frustrating because like all around me, like everyone around me, like my friends or like other moms that were like home with the kids for a while, they started to go back to work, or they could like focus on their careers in the meantime when the kids were at school, they could contribute to their family. And I wanted to do that, but I couldn't. And I don't know, like it is really depressing, if you want to but can't. So I don't know. I'm still upset about this. Like even now, I found ways to be busy, like one way for me is the podcast, through the podcast, I started it. So I had my thing that kept me busy, that I felt really important about, so that was like one thing that kept me going. And also by now I'm used to the situation, but I mean, there are times when I was just wanted to put my head in the sand. It's like, how am I gonna like do this? My son, when he was in daycare, he was gone for like 4 hours in the morning. I was like, I mean, I cannot just sit on the couch and watch TV. It's really frustrating. I don't know. It was not me. Like, I mean, sure, some people probably want to do this and or they like to be at home or like do that thing all day long. But I don't know. I had a business before, I was like an entrepreneur. I wanted to do things, but I was not allowed. So it was really frustrating for me. Like, I was maybe at some point even depressed. I don't know. It's just, I had nothing that I could look forward to. Because, I mean, of course, I love being a mom and I love having my kids, but also I wanted to do something with my other life. I'm not just a mom. I'm also like still me at some point where I wanted to do something else. So I also tried volunteering, and I'm not the best housewife. I do some housework, sure, but I'm sure my husband is always complaining like I'm not the best at I'm not the best housewife, And then also, sure, sometimes you meet a friend, but also you feel empty. Yeah, as I said, I started the podcast for me. And then at some point, I was also like thinking, my resume, if I ever will go back into the workforce, nobody wants to hire me with that huge gap in my resume. Come on. Like, we will not be forever on this H-1B visa. Like, if I show this huge gap, I mean, sure, it's explainable, but like first it's gonna ask some questions, and I'm sure there are like 1,000 other people who apply for a job that don't have that huge gap in their resume, So like I wanted to fill this. I don't want to keep it open. So at some time, like I just had the idea to go back to school, like, I don't know. I would have probably otherwise never come to my attention or to my mind to go back to school, because I was not always the best student. I had like sometimes not the best grades, but then I was like, okay, I'm still good enough so I can apply for grad school. And so I did. And I'm glad I did, because then it kept me really busy, and it was like something meaningful, something that I could show. Like, even if I'm spending a year abroad and don't do anything, I mean, a year, it's 5, or no, I mean, for my case, it's longer, but anyway, I have not an empty gap in my resume. So for me, it was like, okay, I gonna go back to school. So I gonna get a master's degree and have something to show to somebody. All right. But anyway, I just wanted to rant about this visa because it can be so soul sucking. You are dependent on your spouse. And also, like, marriage is not always a walk in the park. Like, sometimes it is hard, we're married for 13 years and we're not walking around with like rose-colored glasses anymore, So like sometimes, especially because of the visa, it made me so depressed. And also like you go off to work, you have like, maybe you have like nice coworkers, you have chit chat all day long, you contribute to the family, you have like, you work on your career. I cannot do anything, so this is like, it's hard, so also that comes back into your marriage, and sometimes you think like, or maybe it would be easier to get a divorce. But you're not even, with this visa, you cannot even get a divorce when you want. Not when there are kids allowed. What? You're going to leave your kids behind because you have to exit the country. Or you have to find your own visa sponsor. This is not like something you're just going to get. Especially like now it's changed. Like what, like the visa, the H-1B visa costs $100,000 for the employer. So, I mean, now it's even harder, So anyway, so you just don't just go, you cannot get divorced. I mean, like, sure, I don't want to get a divorce, but if you wanted a divorce, like, what, you not gonna go leave your kids behind with the other parent in another country. You just cannot do that. There are so many strings attached. Nobody is doing that. And sure, H-1B visas oftentimes are good paying jobs. But on the other side, it's also hard on the other person, on the H-1B holder. Like, you are the sole employed person. You are the, what's it called? Like, you are the only one who's bringing money to the table for the family. So I'm sure like this is also a burden to carry around. And being not financially dependent as an adult, and especially if you had a career before and that you gave up, it sucks. So it's really is not ideal if you have to ask the others like, hey, is it okay if I buy that t-shirt? Or let's not say a t-shirt, but maybe something a little bit more expensive, like shoes, I mean, you don't want to ask for it. You want to just, I don't know, like decide for yourself. I'm like, or like, don't worry about like, oh, another pair of shoes. Like maybe stop the spending. I don't know. I'm not saying that there are comments like this at my house always, but sure there were. And also like, I don't want to think about this when I'm making a purchase. Like, is it okay for my husband or is it okay for my spouse? Will there be a comment made about the spending or something? Like, I'm not a crazy spender. I'm not buying a lot of things. I am not that person. I'm not the average great spender. I don't know. I'm just not buying a lot of things in general. If I wanted to, then I still like think about it. I don't know. Do you know what I mean? And I'm sure there are worse things to complain about. But this is not a feeling of freedom. And wasn't this supposed to be the land of the free? Does that make sense to you? And another thing about this visa, well, since you are not able to go out to your daily routine, kind of like your daily job, that's what I mean with it, it can be really isolating. It's hard to make friends. And the easiest way to make friends or to meet people is usually like coworkers, and you don't have that. I'm lucky I have made some mom friends at school, and I also joined the PTA, so that's another option if you can do it. So I have some company, but others, it's lonely. Let's say you move with your spouse and he or she goes away 10 hours to work, and he meets like all fun coworkers, they have outings, and you're stuck at home and you can't. You're stuck at home, you can like go out, but like you don't have like this naturally coming your way. You need to work on that, and it is hard, especially as an adult. It's like so much harder to make friends. But talking about this, I made a little list of things that you can do, maybe so you can go out and find friends or like stay busy, like feel useful, because I guess like you got it. I felt this was really hard on me, and it still is. All right. So anyway, so here's my list. Ta-da! If you have kids, go to the playground and see if you start to chit chat with other parents. And there are also see if there are groups. Like, I hate Facebook, but there are Facebook groups for activities, any interests you have. I'm sure in your area, there are Facebook groups for your hobby or parenting or other meetup groups. Maybe you are also German or you are from, I don't know, Spain or something. Anywhere, see maybe if there are get-togethers, groups where you meet each other, help each other out. And then you can also volunteer. So see if there is a website for your town with volunteering options. So I know in my area, the NPR radio station's website also offers volunteering options. So you can look there just as an idea. I did volunteering at the animal shelter. Take the dogs for a walk, or you can also play with the kitties. And I also did senior driving. So that meant I drove seniors to their doctor's appointment and then waited there and then drove them back home. So that's what I did, but check for volunteering options. So you feel needed and be helpful to the community. You can also see if you're a parent, if your school needs volunteering. See if you can help at your school, or be creative, start a blog, start writing, or I don't know, be creative in any other meaningful way to you. Maybe you can also start a podcast. And then, of course, I don't know if you want to follow my footsteps. I don't have to, of course not. But maybe you can also see if you want to go back to school as an option. So I'm going back to an online school. It's in Germany. So I know schools in the US is super expensive. So I go back to an online school in my home country, because I don't need a visa for that. I can still go to school abroad. I don't need to go to school here in the United States and check out if I need another visa, if this, and also it's way too expensive here in this country. And then do sports, be active, go outside, don't stay inside all day, get some sun, get some vitamin D. It's really helpful. It's so, it's good for your soul. and get a nice treat, that makes you happy. So I don't know if you listened to not the last episode, but the one before that, where my guest, Dr. Elephant Yanni, talks about how to be happy, so definitely. I mean, she also says like meditating. I still have not tried it, but the walks and being nice to yourself and treat yourself to something nice, definitely do that. All right, so that is for that. Okay, so today is going to be a way shorter episode than usually, but there is also just one more thing that I wanted to mention about this visa. The H-1B visa was just in the news, and a lot of people probably say like American jobs for Americans, but come on, like this is a visa for qualified people with needed skills. And oftentimes their spouses have good degrees and would love to contribute to the community in a helpful but also paid way, and also be happy to pay taxes. I'm sure like I would be happy to pay taxes. And I'm sure like a lot of businesses would love to hire qualified, smart people, so it's a win-win for businesses and the partners on the H-4 visa. So it would be so nice if at least you had the option, even if it's the option of get a part-time job or just like a few hours a week, but you have something meaningful that you could do. And I know like the current administration is probably just thinking like, oh, wives back into the kitchen, raise the children, kind of that. But I don't know. There are also like families that have no children who are having this visa, and where the wife or the spouse have like no options to do anything, So it would be so helpful to at least like give the chance to do something, even if you don't want to give them like a full-time job opportunity, but maybe still some options so they can contribute, like do something meaningful, because it can be just so frustrating. Anyway, that was my opinion about the H-4 visa. I'm sure like it is nice for some people, like they're happy to be at home and sit on the couch and just take care of the family. In my case, it is really limiting the options, and it's really hard, and it's frustrating, and it's depressing at times, because like you are not free, This is what I wanted to say. Anyway, thanks for listening. And yeah, as I said earlier, if you want to reach out to me on that and vent about this, or maybe also tell me your positive experience with this, I'm happy to learn about that too. This is just my side of the story, and I'm sure like I should be more grateful, maybe, but sometimes I just cannot see it. Or it's hard to see. I don't know. And I'm still very grateful that I have the time with my kids, and I have the time to make this podcast, so bring it to you. So for me, this is important, and I hope for you too. Yeah, and I'm like glad that I found a way to stay busy, but at times it was really hard. Anyway, so enough of that, and yeah, please reach out to me if you want. Worlds Collide 123pod@gmail.com. Leave a comment. Reach out, follow the podcast, all these things. See you later. All right, that was it from this week. So don't forget to check the show notes. All the information that you need, it's all there. And don't forget to subscribe and, of course, support the podcast in any form that you want to. All right. And then, of course, if you want to be a guest, or if you want to leave a comment, you can reach out to me via email. It's worldscollide123pod@gmail.com, or you can find me on the socials, more Instagram, at worldscollidepod. It's one word. All right, and that was it from this week. I'll see you. Bye.